in, hitting record, and putting PowerPoints up to be shared. So Miss Adams, are we ready? Did you hit the record? All right. Miss Adams, all of you know, is our Executive Director for Teaching and Learning. You know Mr. Klander, West Middle School, High School Principal, Jana Protka, who's our at-risk coordinator, Michelle Scott, who's our College Career Military Associate Principal, and we've got Ms. McLaughlin, our middle school assistant principal, or excuse me, counselor, all on the show tonight, and there may be more joining us. They're going to help me with the chat feature. If you will add questions as you would like to get different things answered based on what we're sharing. We feel like tonight's presentation will be different from the other four parent Zooms that we've done because we'd like to hit some highlights of kind of FAQ type questions that we've been receiving from you. We're going to share updates on UIL and band that are really hot off the press from Zooms we attended today. Mr. Klander is going to do some reminders about what arrival to dismissal will look like. I'm going to really talk about how our plan works for suspected and lab confirmed COVID cases. Just so you know, because we've already had to put that in place, and some of you probably have received my notifications that I sent through Mr. Dorsey in particular. So we're going to go over a lot tonight, but we want tonight to be about you and feedback and questions that you have for us. So again, my name is David Truitt. In case you forgot me over the last 200 days since last March, it's good to see all of you. I haven't forgotten you or your kids, and we're ready to get school rolling because we miss them greatly. A couple of good things, because I love to start off meetings with good things. We had a fabulous scrimmage, really two scrimmages, multiple scrimmages on Saturday. And it was so great to see the football and volleyball kids back in action at West High School and to see all the parents in the stands. It was a wonderful day. I think if you were there, you'll agree with me that it was great to be able to get together and have those things. Tonight, I know the girls are playing volleyball again, and Woodard's just getting in from practice. And so we've got a lot of fun things to share. All right, I want to start off with, we've been joking each Zoom that it's death by PowerPoint because I love my PowerPoints. So I only have a few slides tonight that I want to share that we'll use as a guide to get through some different things. And we'll make sure that this is shared out along with the recording in case you have some questions. Whoops, that went dark. Let's see, there we go. All right, just as a reminder, our district website, in case you haven't been joining us on our other Zooms, I'm loading everything onto the COVID-19 plan box that's on each of our campus and district websites. You can't miss it if you go on the internet to our sites. It's right on the right-hand side on every single page. And on that site is where you'll find our Return to Learn plan, the most current calendar, the table that shows the difference between on-campus and remote instruction. It has information about student meal bags, our technology lending program. It has the FAQ for questions you've been asking. So it really has everything that you need on that one site. So I'm just going to keep reminding you guys that's a great place to go. I've actually updated the Return to Learn plan 3 times in the last 24 hours. And so I keep sending a new version out because we get updates and find things that we need to tweak. And so the latest version will always be on that site. Our next Zoom meeting, so you can put it on your calendars, will be Tuesday, September 1st. Of course, we may have some emergency ones or even a grade level or program specific. We've tossed around ideas about doing different things based on 6th grade, 9th grade, or a band one or an extracurricular type thing. Just as it gets more specific with the start of school coming, we want to make sure that we're reaching out to the families of those different type groups. But we wanted to have one last big one where we go over all back to school arrival and dismissal reminders and scheduling and different things you need to know. And so we're going to host that on the 1st at 7. And of course, we'll record it and post it to the YouTube channel like we're doing tonight. As always, keep the email and calls coming. We're getting a little more busy during the school day because the staff is back and we're doing trainings and things. And so the 8 to 4 time slot, we're actually tied up now in different meetings and trainings. But we'll get back with you either at a break or lunch or after hours. And so we'll make sure that we get your questions answered. As always, watch for my school messengers. You know, I love to send out my school messenger emails and love to post things on social media. So that's a great place to look for information right now. If you come, our temperature check and screenings, face coverings, and social distancing still in place. If you'd like to just call, that's always best. We've got our front office ladies who are all back, and they can help you with questions. All right, so if you come by, please make sure you bring your mask and be ready to go through our screening process. All right, next, just as a reminder, our first day of school, we're sticking with Tuesday, September 8th. As we've worked through some things just this week, I just feel so glad that we have this extra time, blessed that we've been able to breathe and get ready for students and staff and some of the challenges we'll face. As some of you know from my notifications, we've even had some COVID cases we've had to deal with staff and students. And so now I'm glad that we've had this time to get some of those things worked out and get the quarantine period done, to get everybody educated and updated on how the different pieces work for suspected versus lab confirmed cases. And so we can have everybody back ready to go for the start of school. And so in addition to this start date, just a reminder about our calendar. It's posted again on that COVID-19 site, or you can go to the black box on the front page that says district calendars, and this calendar's there. We're gonna send home color copies with your kids to put on your fridge. Also on that site now is the cross-country volleyball and football schedules, and so I'm gonna keep dumping all our calendars onto that one site. As a reminder, last time we met, we talked about this October 9th holiday that you can see on this sample calendar. We talked about moving it to October 2nd because that's our homecoming date against Oak Cliff Life School. We decided to leave it on the 9th because that's halfway through the grading period. And we thought it'd be a great 3-day weekend for all of our families and staff. And so the calendar will not change again unless we hear direction from TEA or the governor. This one was approved back on July 22nd by our board. And so this is the one posted and we're using as we roll into the first day on September 8th. All right, I'm gonna shift now to, let me get off this shared screen here. We're gonna start off with Mr. Clander sharing just news about West Middle High School, some things that are on his mind and heart. And then right after he finishes, we're gonna shift to Mark Dorsey, our head of bands, that's gonna share some updates about the band program. And just so you know, families, we've got, looks like 72, 73 now. And again, I'm so thankful you guys are joining us tonight. We actually, just so you know that COVID's a reality in West, we had to shut down our marching band camp after the first 2 days due to a suspected case that eventually became a lab confirmed case. And so band, along with cheerleading and Dazzlers, have been on hiatus. The Dazzlers and the cheerleaders hadn't started camp yet. They were doing things virtually. And so really that was more of a preventive measure to keep them from coming together on campus. But the band's been out on quarantine. And so they're gonna come back on the 18th, and Dorsey has some updates on that. After Dorsey goes, we're gonna have Coach Woodard share some news about our fall sports and some information from our different districts that we heard about today. And then we'll shift to Mrs. Adams, Amanda Adams, who's gonna remind you of some remote instruction updates and news and some on-campus updates as well. So we'll go in that order, and I'll get off and hit mute. So take it away, Mr. Clander.
Thank you, Mr. Truitt. It's again, it's a pleasure to see everybody with us tonight, and it's really great that families are taking time to join us to make sure they're staying fully informed. So just as Mr. Truitt has said, you know, just a reminder, we are starting school on September the 8th. First times for the building to open for students will be at 7:15. And this is kind of a new thing for us, that we cannot let any of our students come in earlier than that because of our health checks that we're going to be going through. So when students come in, they'll have an opportunity to come in either the front doors on the middle school or the high school side, or they can come in what I'm calling the band and ag hallway on the high school side of the building. Our bus riding students will come in where they traditionally have on the baseball, softball side. When those students that are not riding the bus, when they come in, they will go through a quick health screen, checking some questions, checking temperatures. From that point, they then can go directly to their first period class if they're not eating breakfast. If they are eating breakfast with us that morning, Ms. Garrick and her staff will have things ready to go for them to grab and then take that to their first period class. So we won't have any of our students eating breakfast directly in the cafeteria. That's a new thing for us this year. As we go through the day, just a reminder that first period does start at 8 o'clock in the morning. We'll start from 8 o'clock and then we'll dismiss each day at 3:15. So make sure that if you're picking your kids up that you're with that time. For our dismissal, we will have a process that we use where we call it our bus riders to load the buses. That way they can vacate the property, and then we'll go with car riders and those that are drivers. So we're trying to lessen the number of kids that are standing in the hallways at any one time. One of the things to remember is that our entry points, one of the main points for athletics, and I'm sure Coach Woodard will talk about this, is that the only people that can come in our back athletic doors are those that are there specifically for practice. So that's no longer going to be an entry point for students. That may no longer be an entry point for any adults when we have any type of competitions as well. So those are going to be some important things for us to remember, that we're having to change some of our traditional protocols that we've used. As we go through our school day, a couple of things to remember. We are going to ask that all of our students turn in cell phones. We're going to do those each period, and had a parent contact us this last week and was wondering just about the sanitation and safety aspects with that. What our teachers are going to be doing, if they're using some type of tub or a phone caddy, they'll be disinfecting those between those class periods. We'll also have individualized bags for students if they'd like to put their phone into a bag. That way they can also make sure that it's staying as safe as they can. And of course, they'll be disinfecting those things between classes, and that's going to be a big part for us, is making sure that we keep that sanitation aspect really on our high points. One other big thing that's changing this year for our high school classes is that for students that are taking any of our advanced courses, there is a contract that both the students and their parent or guardian will need to get filled out and turned into us. And really what that is that's showing that their dedication and they are understanding the requirements of these advanced courses. So those are some areas that we really are looking at to really up that game a little bit. So making sure that our best students have the opportunity to do the best they can. One big date change for us. We had originally said that August 20th was going to be a schedule pickup, and then we realized that's also the night of our first and only football scrimmage this year. So to be fair to parents and students, we've now moved that schedule pickup. Will be on August 19th. That'll be from 6:30 to 8 o'clock that evening. The middle school side will have it broken down by grade. So our 6th graders, 7th graders, and 8th graders will each have a designated place to pick up their schedules. Our high school students will be on the high school side of the building, and this will be a drive up and drive through process. And we will break that down by alphabet so that it's no confusion as to where you need to go. We'll have signage out front and things like that. So just as an update, August 19th from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. is when students can come to the school and pick up their schedules. We'll have multiple pieces of information available for you there. And we want to also encourage you, if you have not registered your student fully, that they get this done. I think we've opened that back up just a little bit longer to make sure we get everybody in. And so if you haven't done that, please do so. If you have any questions, contact us at the school. We have staff that can help you with that, because we want to make sure we get our classes set properly and that the students get where they need to get the best educational facilities for them. Mr. Truitt, I'm really going to kind of shorten it down tonight because I know there's some other folks that have some big information. But I want to again thank everybody for being on here and remind you that your students will be wearing masks throughout the day. The only time they won't have those masks on would be during our lunches, and we'll have students spread across through our 4 lunch periods. So there'll be social distancing with those. But if you haven't gotten the habit of wearing a mask, you might want to try, because it's a new sensation, but it's something that's very doable for all of us, and it's for the safety and well-being of everybody. So if you have any questions, you can always reach us at the school by phone, by email, or even a visit. But if you do come by a visit, you will need a mask. You will have to go through those health checks as well. So come see us. We'd be welcome to answer any questions you have.
Hi, everybody. We are, like Mr. Truitt said earlier, we're waiting to get started again on August 18th. That's also when we are Anyway, we're waiting on August 18th. Those times right now is 5 to 7, Monday through Friday. I know we share some students with their activities. I want to be meeting with those people just to make sure everybody's taken care of. It's never been a problem in the past, and I don't think it's going to be one now. Today, me and Miss Clark, we were working on shooting videos just to help kids, introduce them how to march a little bit better, just so we could get some kids some help. Tomorrow, we're going to be working on getting music uploaded onto the school's website, as well as sending out a Google link so that people can access their stuff that way. I've been updating the calendar as fast as I possibly can. This past Saturday, we had some big band director meeting. And we have our dates for at least the fall nailed down pretty good so far. Our marching contest as of right now is November 7th, and that's, barring anything else changing. But as of right now, we are going to marching contest on November 7th. And we have an area competition, which is optional, on December 12th. And it's going to be seeing how that's going to work, but we're waiting for that as well. The all-region process that our kids usually go through, where they go to a certain school, sit in a giant room, and then go and play for a panel of judges, isn't happening this year. It's all going to be done virtually. The kids are going to record themselves. When they get done, they have a set window for dates to record themselves, and then there's going to be judging panels where it's going to be all virtual, so there's not going to be any issues with a bunch of people being in the same room. As far as marching and band this year so far, it's going to be a little bit different because we're going to be moving faster than we normally do. And if you've ever seen us work, we do work fast normally, but this year is going to be it's going to be a little bit more put on the students just so we can catch up and make sure everybody's taken care of. But we're going to do our best to make everything as easy and doable as we can always have. I'm really excited to start the year. I couldn't be prouder when those 2 days that we did have camp, watching the leadership kids learn how to teach each other was something that I was just having a blast doing, because they were learning a lot, and it was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see everybody again. If you have any questions, please let me know. I've been emailing out as much information as I can, and I'm trying to keep everybody as posted as I can. So let me know if y'all have anything, and that's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate everyone being on here tonight. Like Mr. Truitt said, we have football schedules updated on the website. High school, varsity, JV, and middle school are on there. If you notice, we have a couple of holes in there. We're working diligently to try to fill those in. Right now, middle school only has 5 games. We're trying to look for a couple more. We're missing a varsity game and a JV game as well. So hopefully we can get those filled in the next couple of days and get those schedules nailed down. One thing I do want to reiterate is to make sure everybody understands no middle school athletics can start before the first day of school. So none of those practices will be anytime until at the earliest would be September 8th. So be looking for information. We'll put it out on of course on our website, and we'll have our Ms. Prodka, Mr. Truitt, and all of them put it out on social media so everybody will know about whether we're having parent meetings and info on paperwork and those types of things. And so just be looking for info on those types of things. Middle school volleyball, I know there was a meeting about that today. I was in the middle of football practice when it was on. I know there is a schedule. I know the volleyball coaches were looking to approve it. Don't know if it completely got done or not yet, but as soon as it is done, it'll be posted to our website. We'll get it to everybody as well. I do want to talk a little bit about middle school athletics and just kind of the plan for arrival. Mr. Clander alluded to it a little bit. All middle school kids, if we're having early morning practices those days, they'll need to be dropped off on the high school athletic side, which is the side that's opposite of the baseball and softball field. So you'll enter by the greenhouse, drive around to the back, and we'll drop those kids off back there. The doors will be locked until a certain time because we have to make sure we have all our coaches in place to be able to properly screen the kids with questions we have to ask them, take everybody's temperature, and make sure that we have coaches in and around locker rooms to be able to hustle those kids in and out and get them situated and monitored in the places that they have to be. And so there'll be more of a plan that we talk about that as we get into those middle school parent meetings to be able to make sure everybody is on the same page on exactly how all that works. One of the things I do want to talk to all of the parents about, middle school or high school, is understanding that those screening questions and help your kids help us to make sure that that we're keeping everyone as safe as we can. And so if they're having some of those symptoms, please don't send them to practice. And we've talked to our kids about that. I'd rather you miss 2 days with a little thinking I'm sick and then find out everything's okay than thinking I can push through it. And next thing you know, something bad happened and it is a confirmed case and you've been around a bunch of people and now you're out 14 days and a bunch of other people are as well. And so really talk to your kids and understand about what, if they wake up, if they go to the deer lease on the weekend and every time they come home from the deer lease, they got allergies, it's allergies, then it's allergies. It's something that's normal to them, then we know that. But if it's something that's not normal and it is one of those symptoms, it's more than okay right now athletically for those kids to stay at home and make sure that they're better and things like that. And another one that we're having a little bit of issues with is if they've been around somebody, A, that's either tested positive or B, that is showing those symptoms. It's okay for them to take a day and then let's make sure everybody's safe. And we as coaches understand that. We know this is a unique situation right now, something that we've never been through and hope we never have to do again. But please help us out and let's err on the side of caution, not just for your kid, but for everybody that's involved in these activities that we have going on right now. So as always, if you ever have any questions, please feel free to email me, call my office, text me, whatever you need to do, and I will work my best to be able to try to answer those. There was a question on the chat a minute ago about if parents are we going to work on a plan to have it where at least parents can come to the games? And we are. We started working on a plan today for our home volleyball games. We've got a plan that we had a district meeting on about our football games. I will say this, when we go out of town, we are at the mercy of another school. I know there's a school in our district that's going to allow 80 people in their visitor bleachers. So if you look at a freshman JV and varsity volleyball team going over there with roughly 32 kids, if every kid gets 2 tickets, that's 64. I mean, and then we're almost out of tickets. So it is going to be a tough situation. Our girls are at Crawford tonight, and that's what they were allowed. We had 75 tickets. We had to use 25 of them for the girls. We had 50 tickets left over. Every kid got 2 tickets. And so it's a tough situation. I know they're going to Thorndale Saturday, and Thorndale's not allowing any fans. So please bear with us and understand that when we go out of town on these road games, we are at the mercy of other people's gyms. We're very fortunate here that ours is plenty big, and we think we have a really good plan for how we can fit basically as many people that want to come to those games in here as we can. And so look for that information in the next couple of days to be published because we do have a home volleyball game on Tuesday, and we want everybody to make sure that if they want to be able to be there, that we have them a chance to be there. And so I'm going to turn it back over to Mr. Truitt. I know he's probably got a couple of things to add from a couple of those meetings that I wasn't in today. But as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to get with me. And if I don't know the answer, I will work diligently to try to find it as quick as I can for you. All right. Thank y'all.
I'm going to jump in real fast, Mrs. Adams. There are a couple of chat questions specifically about athletics, so I thought we'd take a look at those real fast. Since Coach Woodard was mentioning about volleyball, I'm pleased to announce that you can attend any of our volleyball games this season for free. We wanted to make sure we had fans in the stands, even with the limited seating, so it won't cost you a dime. We just want you to come cheer on the Lady Trojans and wear a mask and help support those awesome young ladies. We got to ask a question about live streaming games. What I can commit to right now on this Zoom is we have a Waco station, KWTX, who's going to air one game, and then we're definitely going to live stream our other home games. The unknown is the away games, and we're even working with our film production class to even do some volleyball games and then into basketball and so on. I can't commit to doing every game because we got to have kids that sign up, and Mr. Dalrypple's one person. but we're going to do the best we can, and most definitely the home football games. I think you'll be impressed with the product that the kids will do, and we want it to be kid done. We could contract with a company, but we have a film production class and we have the equipment. So why wouldn't we let those kids learn all about that gig and maybe turn that into a job someday? We also got asked about, well, Coach Woodard answered that. You know, we're going to commit to getting the guidelines out for as soon as possible for attendance in Trojan Field and these away games in particular. That was the big Zoom discussion today, is about fans in the stands, and are you bringing bands to away games, for example. So we're typing up information so we can get it out to everybody and have some meetings set up for Thursday to finalize that plan. As I know, we've got a lot of folks wondering. Like Coach Woodard said, I can't stress enough that we're at the mercy of Governor Abbott's 50% rule for Trojan Field and every gym. And the arena does sit a lot of people, but when you take out a row and then have to social distance by families and what they're calling fan groups, it gets down really fast. And so we're talking about 250 fans on the home side only, even though the arena holds 1,000. And so keep that in mind, that we're doing the best we can. And we've already got the seats taped off that you can't sit in. And so it's ready for you guys to come and cheer on the girls. All right, let's keep rolling. Before Ms. Adams goes, Ms. Scott had some dual credit information she wanted to share since we have a captive audience. So she's going to do a few updates. Ms. Adams, if you'll just follow her, that'd be great.
Hello, thank you, Mr. Truitt. Okay, so if you have a junior or senior that's registered for dual credit through MCC, this information is for you. All dual credit classes will start Monday, August 24th. And again, in order to start these dual credit classes, your child must be registered at West High School via the Skyward Family Access for the 2021 school year. Just a little bit about FERPA guidelines. The dual credit student must communicate with his or her MCC professor. And due to FERPA guidelines, the MCC professor and even our West High School teachers that are teaching dual credit classes, we have 3 of them, the student can only talk to the professor unless the student has given you FERPA consent in the online portal. So again, you know, we encourage the students, they're taking a step in the direction of college, so we encourage the students to communicate with their professor. However, if the parent wants to talk to the MCC professor, and that includes our West High School teachers that are also MCC professors about grades, etc., then the student must give FERPA consent in the online portal. This Friday, August 14th, the payment deadline for dual credit classes is due for this fall semester. The balance will either need to be paid in full or set up the payment plan option by this Friday. Students can log in to WebAdvisor, and they can get to that through the mclennan.edu website, and they can actually go in WebAdvisor, log in, and see the details of what they owe for the classes. They have to go into the area statement of charges to see those detailed listings. So again, if anyone has questions about that, feel free to email me or call me, and I'll give that information at the end. Let's see, moving right along, students, just a reminder, we are so excited that the West ISD will be paying for History 1301 for the juniors that are registered, as well as for the seniors, English 1301 for this fall semester. So that will help with some of the cost for those dual credit classes. Students who qualify for free or reduced lunch, there is a tuition exemption form located in the online registration portal, the gateway.mclennan.edu, and students need to log into their online account and submit this form. Students that are brand new to dual credit or juniors, MCC email accounts are created automatically. And I sent an email out last week, I believe it was on August 7th, and there was a short video explaining how to log in. So those that are brand new to dual credit, if you will refer to that email, there's a little video that will help them get their MCC email accounts set up, because professors will be reaching out to students either through the MCC email account, also through Brightspace, which is very similar to Schoology that we have at the high school. So again, these are all new learning management tools for these juniors to get used to. Finally, dual credit online classes. I've had a lot of text and emails about that. So on August 24th, students who are taking an online course will log into Brightspace. The online course is self-paced. They basically do it at their own rate, at their own time. However, there are assignments and exam deadlines. So on the first day of class, on the 24th, the students will need to look at their syllabus and then make notes in their calendar for these deadlines. So if you have any questions, please contact me. My email is mscott@westisd.net, or you can call me at the high school number 254-981-2050. And then one final reminder for the seniors, class of 2021, the senior cap and gown and tux wrap pictures have been postponed until late January or early February due to the required sharing of apparel. So a specific date has not yet been set. More information will come later in the school year from Mrs. Woodard. So thank you and have a great evening.
All right, good evening. I wanted to talk a little bit about registration and some updates. As Mr. Tritt mentioned earlier, we did open registration back up this morning for parents and families who were not able to finish that registration by August 7th. We have begun making phone calls to students, families that were with us at the end of last year but haven't completed registration. So if our number comes up on your phone, please answer. We're going to ask you to go in and register as soon as possible, and remind you that we need to get that done in order to have a schedule ready for you on the 19th, that schedule pickup date. So if you haven't registered, please go in. It's open right now. So after this Zoom, go ahead and go in and complete registration. With that, I'd like to announce that there are 1,068 students currently registered and completed with the process of the online registration. Of those 1,068, there were 119 that chose to be remote instruction learners. Of those 119, 20 were from middle school and 30 were from high school. So those 50 students in middle and high school are spread across all grade levels, and so it's a pretty even distribution. So I wanted to kind of give everyone an update on where we were on that. Having said that, if you did sign up for remote instruction for your family and for your student, we will begin making those phone calls, those individual calls about remote instruction beginning August 17th. That whole week we'll be reaching out to each one of you with just information and questions and making sure that you are comfortable with your choice and how we can help you. Following that week, August 24th, the week of that week, there will be several sessions for parents and learning coaches to attend of orientation. We will record those as well and post them, but you will be required to attend an orientation session, either virtually or in person. And we'll talk about that when we make the phone call to you, which choice you want to make prior to your student being a remote instruction student. So please do answer. If you signed up for remote instruction, we will begin making those calls Monday, August 17th. So as well as those calls and orientations, we will do a tech checkout to the families who ask to check out a laptop for their student. That will also happen the week of August 24th. So when we call and ask your information, we'll also get that from you. Do you need to check out a laptop as we wait for our one-to-one Chromebooks to come in? We will have other technology available to you if you need that for your family while we wait. So all of those things coming up in the next couple of weeks. I did want to stress too, while we're all on this Zoom together, that even if your student is going to be an on-campus student, they will be required to use our learning management system, Schoology. We will post all activities and classes in that system, because at any moment, if they have to become isolated or quarantined, then they would pick up remote instruction. And so we're working with our teaching staff and having everybody prepare for that situation. So we will record those orientations, and I encourage all parents to watch those once we post them and reach out if you have any questions. Your students are mostly familiar with the Schoology system, but we'll continue to provide them training as well. So just one more reminder about registration. It's really important. We want your student to have a schedule ready when you come on the 19th for pickup. So if you haven't completed registration and turned in your proof of residency, please do that as soon as possible. Thank you.
All right, parents, hang in there. Just a few more slides of information. I'll have Ms. Adams take over the chat. I just answered the last few questions, but I accidentally clicked on the private, so they only see my responses. The questions were about scheduled pickup. Of course, we're just thrilled anyone will come by to get the schedule. So parents, you can do that. And if your kids aren't available, we understand. There was a question about, oh, good, the Zolkes answered. Oh, we've got the Zolkes, woo! So the Zolkes answered the cross-country question. We got asked about attendance policies for COVID time. And of course, there'll be more grace as we work through quarantine periods and moves to remote instruction. The key there is, as soon as possible, getting on remote instruction, because that's how attendance is being required to be taken by the state. And so they're looking at that, as you've heard Ms. Adams share over the past Zooms, about if the kids are in the system of Schoology and working or not. And so that's the key for attendance on that one. All right, a couple more slides. I'll just leave this screen up instead of going to the, oh, actually I do need to switch out. I forgot I had some graphics. Yay. All right, let me do the share screen here real fast. And I promise just maybe 10 more minutes. Hang in there. All right. On this slide, I wanted to let you know that the Return to Learn plan on that COVID-19 plan site on our website I mentioned earlier, we've updated the new symptoms list from the CDC, so it now just has the 7.
I want a screenshot.
Also with our question about have you been in close contact with a suspected or lab confirmed case of COVID? And we're going to send home copies of the screening form, so you can even have one for your fridge or by your door. So it's something you're constantly asking your kids, how do they feel? Have they been around anyone that didn't feel well? And to be frank, parents, that I'm going to echo what Coach Woodard said, this is our biggest challenge right now, is if you're ever wondering how West is doing as far as the lab confirmed cases, you can go to the website and see it's always in the 50s, not in our district or community on the Clinton County site. But in our district right now, if we were in school, we would have 4 high school students that have positive cases and 1 staff member. So the reality is it's here. And if our plan is working the way it's lined out in the Return to Learn plan packet, we will be okay to proceed with our suspected and confirmed plans and the quarantine and requirements to get the kids and staff back in school at the appropriate time. So far with those cases I mentioned, they didn't get them from kids or programs or events on our campuses. It was at home and then brought to the schools. And so that's why it's imperative, as Coach Woodard said, that the screener and thinking about who you're around, family, friends, gatherings, events, things you're going to over weekends and the evenings, and then how do you feel the next time school's starting, and if that's the right decision to send your kids to school. And so far we've had some situations there that we've had to work through. And just to be totally transparent, you'll know how that's how I'm wired. We've had another 6 of suspected that we've had to test and that came back negative. So we're already in double digits and school hadn't started. And so not an alarmist, it's just the reality of we need help from our community to ensure our school district safety plan is in place and working to have successful days at school. And to date, we haven't had that happen because kids have come even with symptoms and confirmed cases in their homes. All right, we have 2 PR videos that we've released. One was about bus transportation, a reminder about how we're going to work some different things on coming to school and going home. You can find those on our YouTube channel, so I wanted to make sure you saw that. Great ones to share with your kids, and we also did one introducing the different team members of the campus leadership teams, which will be sent out tomorrow. I thought I would share kind of an overview of that screening form so you can see the questions we're talking about. The temperature of 100.4 or greater Fahrenheit, the sore throat, the uncontrolled cough, diarrhea, vomiting, abdominal pain, and onset of severe headaches. And then the big one, again, this is the one we're facing, is close contact with an individual who's suspected or lab confirmed. We're doing pretty well as a community on the lab confirmed parents, but it's the suspected. If we suspect, as Coach Woodard said, it's best to stay home and do the remote instruction to go through the quarantine period to make sure you don't have any symptoms, go see your doctor and come back with a negative test, whichever route you're gonna go. So we can make sure that the staff and students are safe that this person would come in contact with. I get asked often about the close contact, and I just want to make sure everyone understands when it says that, think of it in terms of I'm in the school and I'm coughing on someone. So that's one of the things in the definition of close contact. So I'm within 6 feet, I'm coughing, I'm sneezing on them, I don't have my mask on, so it's full on body secretions, just to give it a name. And then it asks, the second role of, or the definition is a duration of 15 minutes. And then it even has the mask component in there. And as you know, we're requiring them with 3rd grade and above, and in some cases at grades 2 and below, always on the buses. And then it talks about the onset of symptoms within that first 48-hour period, which the CDC says is critical. Because if you go and get a test during that 48 hours, it's probably going to come back negative, but then immediately after the 48, you could be a positive. And so that's why our communication and notifications have to be perfect between me and you, our community as well. And so to date, we've done a pretty good job on that. We've got to get better as school gets started. I was asked in the earlier elementary 6 o'clock Zoom about how we were going to relay the information to parents. And so I've committed to 2 ways. Even though there's form letters from the state, I think you'll all agree, if I send home a letter with your kids to give you, most of the kids won't get that letter to you. It'll end up in a backpack or left on a bus or even in the classroom. So we're going to commit to a running record on our website that will even have the suspected and confirmed entry dates as far as the follow-up, including the 14-day quarantine period, so you know when it's up. I'll even commit to giving specifics about teacher name, and I don't mean if they're sick, I mean their classroom and what they teach in campus and grade levels, so you will know. And we'll track it for staff and students, and we even have to track it for visitors if you come on our campus and you're a suspected or confirmed case. So those are the 3 ways we'll track. So I'll do the website, and then I'm going to use Skyward School Messenger because you know I love it. And of course, we're going to do the email version, but then also we're going to do the text version. So we absolutely know you're getting it one way or the other. And if you haven't been on email or don't get on it, at least you'll get the text version. And so it's imperative that your email addresses and your cell phone numbers are right in Skyward so that I know you're getting my notifications. We already tried to send some band stuff out and didn't go to everyone. Obviously, it was summertime, not everybody's registered, so we're in kind of no man's land about how do we get everybody when they're not even in the system. We did the best we could with what Dorsey had email-wise, but I've already sent 2 notifications to them. I sent the staff the notifications so they were aware, and that was the best I could do with this 4 weeks out from school notification piece. So it'll be all working once everybody's in the system and school's in session. Travel between now and the start of school is imperative. If you think about a quarantine period for suspected cases, that's really talking about Monday, August 24th, guys. If you're thinking about going somewhere for Labor Day and being in close contact with someone that's sick or could be sick, that 14 days will take you well into that week of September 21st through 25th. So just a reminder there. I know Mr. Klander mentioned this, finding the right mask for your kids is imperative. And so looking for that, making sure that's in place is a must. Home screening is the whole plan, frankly, is based on the home screening and temperature check, because we can do all we can with our different stations, but if the kid comes in a door or comes early or went to practice, we've got to have your help there as another layer. In speaking with you, the parents, you had concerns about parents being available because of work schedules at the bus stops, which is a new requirement. Remember, if a child has a fever before they even board the bus, we don't want a 5-year-old, sending them in the dark back to their homes because they can't come to school because they're sick. So we've got a compromise here of grade 6 and below. So I hope this helps out the families that had concerns about that. Water bottle usage, we're going to have to turn off the water fountains and only have the bottle fillers. So it's imperative that your child has their own water bottle for the year, maybe even with their name on it. And so they can fill that up when they need it and can have it in the classrooms, instead of leaving. And of course, if you think about a water fountain and all the touching and mouths, and we had to turn those off. We will do student meal bags for remote instruction. The pickup is Fridays from 1 to 2. So even if you're at home doing the learning virtually, we have a way to get you meals. And we'll run that through my office with Ms. Kettler, my secretary, where all you do is call us and place your order, and we'll give you the breakfast and meal bags for the next week. So look for that information in a school messenger, please. I know this one's harsh, families, but we can't do visitors to campus, and we're trying to do every meeting we possibly can, whether it's a 504 or ART or just a parent teacher conference, whatever it is, we need to try to do it like this on Zoom or on a Google Meets or Hangout or just over the phone. If you have something you need to bring your child, if you call ahead, we'll come out to the car to get it from you. If your child needs to leave for a doctor's appointment, we'll even walk the child to your car. And so we're trying to do everything we can to use those front doors and the screening as a barrier for folks coming in and out of the building that we don't know how they're feeling or if they have a confirmed case. No field trips or assemblies this year. I think you'll agree we can't do those things. A lot of extracurriculars are going to have to move to a virtual state, including UIL academics and different clubs. If we can make it happen, because we know our kids love it, whether it's TSA or DI or student council, we're even trying to figure out a junior historians plan. Of course, they can't travel, but it doesn't mean we can't do the parent stuff in the arena. They just might have to wear masks. We're going to try it. We're going to try to figure it out. So hang in there for the extracurricular ride, because we want our kids to still have a fun year with the things I know they love doing on an extracurricular level. I also wanted to let you know, because some of you asked it in the last Zoom, about how we were going to work substitutes coming in and out of the buildings, and are they sick, and who have they been around, and we're just not sure if a teacher goes, second period, if they need to go home because they're not feeling well, and we've got to send the kids home, who's going to finish that class. Well, we've decided to hire permanent subs for the year that will be with us from day 1 through the last day on Friday, May 28th. So they're going to join our staff, and we're going to plug them in on a daily basis, on an as needed basis. They're going to already know our return to learn plan. They're already going to go through the screenings. They're going to know our health and safety plan. They're going to be a part of the staff for the year. And I think you'll agree that's a better plan than having different subs showing up every day, filling holes in staffing, whether it's just due to personal absences or illness. So we've got a plan. We're going to hire 6 of them. And Mr. Klander and Ms. Cosda are ready to roll on those hires. Maybe you want to be considered for one of those jobs. Please give one of our principals a call, because we'd love to have your help this year. All right, that was a mouthful, but I said 10 more minutes, so let's see where we are on chats. Ms. Adams, did we have any other questions? Did they all get answered? Great. All right, The goal is, if you just learned one more new thing about our Return to Learn plan, then this was a successful Zoom. So hopefully between one of our awesome presenters and the information I've shared, you've got some new understanding about how we're going to take care of your kids. I hope you all know by now that our team of teachers and administrators and myself, we will do anything we can to help and support you guys. Anytime you need us, whether it's phone, face-to-face, and an email, if you've got concerns or questions coming up as school starts on the 8th or an activity is going to come back online, we're here to talk you through it and do whatever we can to make our Return to Learn plan even better. I mean, I know I mentioned just in my last slide there, 3 different things that parents told us, hey, ideas about, and I went with them because they made sense to me and they were great ideas. So with the brain power alone in this Zoom meeting, we're going to have the best year possible because I know we all have the best interests of our kids at heart. And we all love the Trojans and Lady Trojans. So let's have a fabulous start. The next Zoom is scheduled again for Tuesday, September 1st. We may do an emergency one. If so, I'll let you know. Keep the questions and love and prayers coming. Have a great evening and have a great week. Go healthy and safe, Trojans and Lady Trojans.